You ever have one of those mornings where you wake up, rub your eyes, wander out to the porch in your flannel pajamas with a mug of coffee, only to find a full-blown suburban invasion underway in your driveway? Yeah, that happened to me. The sun barely over the trees, air still smelling like dew and quiet plans. And there she was, the HOA president herself, decked out in camouflage khakis, whistle gleaming, 3 board members in tow wielding measuring tapes like bayonets. I'm talking about a woman so committed, she unrolled a giant vinyl banner across my driveway. Patriotic fonts, stars, stripes, the whole 9 yards, blaring annexation commences at dawn. It was 6:47 in the damn morning, a Saturday, and I just stood there blinking, wondering if maybe I was still dreaming or had stumbled onto the world's weirdest yard sale. She bellowed into a bullhorn, voice as sharp as a drill sergeant. Stand down and submit to architectural review immediately. While behind her, someone pounded a beat on a Tupperware bowl like we were marching into Normandy, and another neighbor, God bless him, was waving a homemade HOA flag, red fabric, logo stitched in the middle, flapping like we were founding a new country. Meanwhile, I'm hugging my coffee, which was steaming a minute ago but suddenly seemed lukewarm, and I just started laughing. Couldn't help it. Nearly dropped the mug right there on my faded welcome mat. That's how it goes in Thornapple Bluffs, I guess. Name's Miles Granger, software engineer, grill master, proud anti-committee citizen. 2 months back, I finally closed on this little ranch house by the river. Nothing fancy, just peace and bird song and the kind of yard where dandelions get to live their best life. I picked this street because it sat outside any HOA boundary. Out here, nobody tells you what color your mulch should be or measures your mailbox with a protractor. Willow Crest Preserve, though, that's a different world, just down the hill, full of roses lined up like military ranks, trampolines tested with the seriousness of war crime tribunals. The president over there, Regina Halford, has hair so rigid it could stop a Nerf bullet, a clipboard she probably sleeps with, and a handshake as warm as a snowdrift. First time she introduced herself, it was right at my property line. She goes, I regulate vibes for the greater good of property values. Not even kidding. I just leaned on my rake, grinned, and said, good luck with mine. They're a little unregulated. Thought that would be the end of it. Boy, was I wrong. It started soft. Pamphlets about voluntary assimilation, invitations to join their butterfly garden, access to pergolas, promises of architectural harmony, and home values ticking up by 17.3%. Because apparently they have math nobody else has. Then the letters started coming, official-looking, warning me about my unvetted mulch being the wrong shade of brown, threatening a $75 fee for unsanctioned wind chimes. Apparently my chimes exceeded decibel limits during moderate wind events, and a friendly reminder my mailbox was a freelance unit, not from their approved list. Next thing I know, she's installing cameras on the property line, calls it boundary monitoring. Little black domes angled right at my rhododendrons. Board members start parading past with clipboards, making noises of disapproval. Throat clears, heavy sighs, like I'm personally setting the neighborhood on fire with every dandelion. One guy, Harold, actually started taking pictures of my yard with a real camera, like evidence for a criminal case. It didn't take long for the HOA's group chat to light up. New loaner refuses harmony, threatens property values, and zoomed in photos of my grass from weird angles, like someone climbed a tree just to make my patch of crabgrass look sinister. I kept telling them, politely, at first, I'm not in the HOA, not subject to your rules. But Regina, she'd smile with every one of those blinding white teeth and say, we can fix that little technicality. You know the type, never told no in her life, especially not by some guy in flannel. Next thing I know, she files a petition for compulsory annexation at the county clerk's office, complete with a map drawn in Microsoft Paint and enough imagination to annex my street, the river, the public park, and half the town if she could. Clerk took one look and stamped, rejected, so fast you could hear the ink dry. Didn't slow her down. She sent me an HOA draft notice on fake parchment, summoned me for an architectural review conscription interview. Monday, 8 a.m. didn't show up. Obviously, so Regina cranked up the crazy, hired a renegade named Derek, neon vest 2 sizes too small, bought barricades, posted board members with walkie-talkies on every corner. Even emailed the sheriff claiming I was a clear and present danger to community standards. Sheriff rolls up, finds my driveway blocked, looks at my deed. My property's my property. Then examines Regina's map, which included a sketch of an eagle and manifest destiny, written in cursive. The deputy just shook his head, called the county attorney, and muttered about possible harassment charges. That's when I called Leah Peretz, my lawyer, queen of the calm voice, delivers paperwork like a SWAT raid. She's seen this circus before and told me flat out, this is a slam dunk. We filed for an injunction and quiet title action to establish, once and for all, my lot was never, ever, part of Willow Crest. Then Leah had Regina served with a trespass notice, caught her measuring the distance between my trash cans with a yardstick, because why not? The court granted a restraining order with prejudice, no cameras, no signage, no annexation activity, not even a postcard from the HOA allowed near my house. Discovery day comes, and boy, did the floodgates open. Turns out, Regina had been coaching her board to create facts on the ground. Emails, meeting minutes, a draft newsletter called Welcome New Subjects listing my address as a recent acquisition. She even spent HOA money on ceremonial sashes and annexation cake. Yeah, part of the budget had already gone to a cake, sitting in someone's freezer, ready for the big victory. To top it off, minutes revealed she'd tried to hire actors to pose as code enforcement, probably with costumes from the same party store as those barricades. At this point, the county attorney hopped onto our side, citing slander of title, forgery, legal process abuse, full smorgasbord. The sheriff personally taped the restraining order to the HOA bulletin board and added a sticky note. Eagles don't equal jurisdiction, with a little frowny face for good measure. Court day finally arrives, and the scene was pure cinema. Regina walks in, blazer the color of legal risk, wheeling a trifold board labeled Emergency Community Sovereignty, in glitter, like this was a science fair. Her slideshow included photos of my house from every angle, a PowerPoint with the Jaws theme, and she even cited a mysterious Section 9.3 subsection C, which, on inspection, turned out to be a late-night addition she'd slipped into the bylaws herself. Wrong paper, different font, signed by a secretary who'd quit after a casserole incident at the potluck 2 years prior. Then the county clerk testifies, pulling out the original plat from 1973. Turns out, my parcel was specifically excluded from the HOA, with bold language. No expansion without unanimous consent of adjacent owners and county approval. The judge's eyebrow nearly left the stratosphere. He called Regina's filings fraudulent, ordered the HOA to pay all my legal fees, and, this is where it gets good, referred her to the state attorney general for investigation into fraud and conspiracy. The gallery audibly gasped, seriously, sounded like a leaf blower on a pine cone, while Regina cycled through every shade of red before settling on a shade of green that, honestly, matched her envy of my freedom. Judge ordered her personally to pay $15,000 for harassment, another $10,000 in punitive damages, and barred her from any HOA role for 7 years statewide. Then came the cherry on top. Turns out Regina wasn't even a real paralegal, just someone who'd watched a few legal webinars online. The judge forwarded her to the state bar. Attorney General cut her a deal, 3 years probation, mandatory classes on property law and ethics, 200 hours repainting the actual city park fence, the one she tried to annex, under the direct supervision of the same deputy she tried to sick on me, plus a $5,000 fine. The final shot? Regina standing there, clipboard clattering to the floor, mouth working like a fish, mascara streaking down her cheeks as the judge finished reading the verdict. You'd think that would be the end of it, but out here, who knows? Regina's just the first wave, and there's always another neighbor ready to protect property values with a tape measure and a grudge. So, you tell me, where's the line between order and overreach, harmony and harassment? Ever tangled with a petty power trip in your own neighborhood? Drop your story below, because I have a feeling I'm not the only one with a wild HOA war to tell. And hey, if you think justice was served, hit that like, maybe subscribe for more, and let's get a real debate going. What would you have done?